Leg day.
Yes.
Bro, just 2 plates? Bro, I thought you pro, man.
Bro, what the does 2 plates have to do with me being a pro, man? Don't you understand? I do it for stimulation, for building muscle. That's it. Obviously, you're an amateur because that's an amateur comment.
Come on, man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Generation Iron Podcast. Your host here, Victor Martinez, along with Esan Farahi, Vlad Yudin, and Edwin Mejia. Yes. And the top topics of today, Edwin.
Last week's episode was all about the different supplementation, right? What's good, what's not good. But then we forgot to talk about the fat burners.
I mean, we were covering the muscle building ones, right?
Muscle building.
Exactly.
Yeah. But fat burners are essential.
I've never taken a fat burner. Have you?
Yes, we have. I have.
Most
of us
You have too? You know what? I saw this movie. I don't know if have you seen this movie called Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah, man. Favorite movie.
It was a favorite movie.
Yeah,
So you remember in that movie there was this old lady and she was like obese or something, right? Overweight. And the doctor gave her some
television.
The doctor gave her some kind of like fat burner, right? Or some kind of not over the counter, some kind of prescription, and she went crazy.
Yes.
Full blown crazy.
I actually remember Fen. You guys remember that? It was one of those. Yeah,
I hear that Fen, but
it was one of those fat burners, and became big in the country. And I used to be able to get them over the counter. You know, neighbors started asking me for them.
They got banned
in the hood, and that old lady, a lot of them became my neighbors, you know. When you get the Fen, when you got it for me. And
so what is it exactly?
It's highly addictive. It's basically, you know.
So in Requiem for a Dream, that's
the
what
oldest school fat.
Yes. It was. They hit it right on the nose.
Yeah, so it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, fat burners, right? Because I mean, people are always looking for a magic pill. And that magic pill is really what sells because people want a cure for some sort of, obviously, you know, being fat, shortcut.
So is that is fat burner a shortcut?
It's just a magic pill. I mean, at the end of the day, people in the bodybuilding industry are going to say there's no magic pill out there that is going to help you.
Somewhere
but
extreme.
there are solutions out there that do assist and help, right? That are very, very good. And that's what the topic is about.
So how does it work? You eat like pizza, cheeseburger, and you take a pill, and then you just lose the fat.
You can, but it doesn't quite work that way.
The old school fat burning, you know, if you have to see the history of the fat burning.
Right.
So as exactly Ed say, fat burning is a multi-million-dollar business.
Yes.
If you look at the commercial on TV, no creatine, no glutamine, no whey protein, no amino acid, but fat burner is there. You know, it's a reason behind it. So the beginning of the fat burning, because was they don't know and they want to test and try, they put so many dangerous things.
Okay.
Like ephedra.
Yes.
Like ephedra. If you remember, I mean, the old school fat burner, all of them had ephedra and caffeine both together, which is perfect recipe for heart attack.
Jeez, really?
Yes. I mean, at the beginning, I'm talking about 91.
Wasn't there a product called Stacker or something?
There was Stackers. There was so many, but the original fat burner, believe it or not, it was actually it was a controlled substance.
Oh,
it was amphetamines.
It's an actual drug.
Yeah, an actual drug. That was
drugs.
the first fat burner. Was amphetamine. And
Amphetamine.
I think it was in the 50s, and you know, women didn't really work out back then.
They took the pill.
They just took the pill and they cleaned the house and they were all hyped up. And that's when they got.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's what they got the meth, right? Meth.
Yeah, yes, meth.
Oh, it's the same thing.
The base of the meth drugs.
Wow.
Yeah, meth.
Wow.
So the housewife wasn't really happy. She was just tripping her ass. You know?
That's crazy.
Maybe we have to bring that to market.
But what about right now? Over the counter stuff we're talking about. What's in it?
Over the counter
herbs?
As I said, ephedra was one of them. I think FDA,
banned it.
But it's not illegal.
Yeah,
you can still use it. You can still get it in Europe. Every time I'm in Europe, I always bring it.
Russia.
Allegedly.
Well, it's not illegal. It's not a controlled substance.
No,
it's not a controlled substance. You can't sell it.
Russia has a lot too. Russia has actually injection ephedrine, which is for powerlifter, and powerlifter use it, and lifter.
Why would you want to lose fat?
They don't want to use the fat. They want
energy.
Exactly.
So how does it work? You take the pill and then what? Like you start burning fat? How does it work?
It becomes thermogenic. Your body heats up. You lose. It actually hinders your appetite. So hinder your appetite.
So it's not good for a bodybuilder.
You get cut off. Well, bodybuilders are going to eat regardless because for us it's more of a must. It's one of these things that we must eat. We must train, but it affects your sleep. And that's where the problem lies.
You can't sleep.
No, it's hard because your heart rate brings up your heart rate.
So back then in fat burning, we had a lot of things inside the one pill. For example, ephedrine, caffeine. I mean,
caffeine is for what?
We have different fat burning too. For example, light waste, releasing water.
Yes.
The thyroid. So back then, all formulation was in pill was very dangerous. For example, T3 and clinpetrol put the one pill, ephedrine, caffeine, and one of them take off the water inside your body. All together, right now, all of them become a different genre. So thyroid fat burner, the fat burner shut down your metabolism. The fat burner
aren't you supposed to speed up the metabolism?
Make you hot.
Yes.
Make you hot and sweat. I mean,
The thermogenic does that.
Thermogenic, yes.
So I mean, nowadays a lot of these fat burners, what they have, is HMB.
HMB
in the fat burner, as an ingredient, and they also have black pepper and chili extract, which are combinations that are lead to like great ingredients, supposedly, right? For fat burners.
No, but it's combining the best ingredients. That's the problem with a lot of bad fat burners.
Right.
They have a low grade of those ingredients you mentioned.
Yeah. So what I've observed from the bodybuilding and the sports nutrition industry is that they have those ingredients, or they have one or two or three of those ingredients in their products. At least most of the companies do, right?
Yes.
So the question is, do they work?
Yeah, do they work?
How effective are they, and when is a good right time to take them? Because
how do
I
they
think
work?
when people take them.
Yes, it's work. It's work. If you
effective with the diet,
but I'm saying with the bad. Would they work with a bad diet? That's my question.
Bad diet.
You have to be some genetically gifted person in order for it to work. It worked for me when I used to eat Ultra Fuel with Twin Lab. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Twin Lab. Just gave away my age,
that's the original bodybuilding.
That's
the original bodybuilding fat burning. Oh my God, was so good.
It had ephedra though, but I could eat pizza. I could eat a Blimpie sandwich.
Wow.
Now Blimpie, but that was
also blessed.
Blimpie's still around, by the way.
Come on, man.
Blimpie's still around, by the way.
Blimpie's still around.
Very, very seldom.
Great though.
Well,
the chicken is made of foam. I'm just saying.
Well, that's Subway.
That was the first original chicken sandwich.
But your answer your question. If you're not following diet and proper workout, no.
So what's the point?
I've taken a fat burner.
So what is you? Okay, so if you're doing a diet, what's the point of taking it?
They force you.
Just take a little bit.
They force you to keep tracking your diet. So when you cannot eat, so right now, if you're not taking fat burning, you crave pizza. You crave cheeseburger.
Once you take it, you don't crave it.
No, you cannot eat.
Oh, I see.
Or if you eat just one piece out, you get full.
It sounds unhealthy.
So it suppresses your appetite.
Your appetite. It's not, you don't
but is it healthy or is it not healthy?
It becomes good when you're pre-contest and you have to eat only what you're scheduled to eat.
You don't want to like go off.
Yeah, you don't want to go over, so it does become helpful then.
Right.
You know,
I see what you're saying.
During your bulk season, then that's when you.
Here's a good question: do you take fat burners before you do your cardio in the morning, or you do it afterwards? Because
before.
I've seen people, and I've taken a fat burner before I work out. You feel kind of weird. It feels intense. You feel like your body's definitely working for those, for your energy.
You get the jitters, you get your heart rate up.
Should be empty your stomach. They write it down. There should be.
So in other words, you can't go to like pizza right away or a burger afterwards.
What if you eat a big pizza and then you take the fat burner? Would that help?
I mean, again, it's just one of those things.
No, it's not like that. It's not acid.
Goal? What is your goal? It's like, are you gonna, go to the supermarket, shop for a fat-free meal so you can lose weight? Buy a box of cookies, low fat, fat-free, sugar-free, but you eat the entire box. It's like kind of defeating the purpose.
So would you recommend a fat burner for a casual gym goer who wants to just look trimmer?
I would recommend it using it in the right combination, the right protocols.
You can't just take it casually. You got to
casually, and it also depends on the person. How's their heart? Do they have high blood pressure? Their age? Right. There's a lot of factors to it. Right. So I would.
It also depends on body type as well, like your type of body type, right?
The most important heart has to be handled. That stimulant.
Can you take it for a long period of time, or is it
no?
No, I say just like everything else, cycle it.
Cycle
it because your body is smart again and it adapts.
So what was Fei? What was that? That was the original fat burner?
Fen was after a while they realized it was highly addictive. It was an amphetamine, but then after a while it started affecting people's hearts. It's making holes in the heart.
Why were they taking it for? Just to get a high?
Oh man, it was one of these. Again, I didn't take it. Obviously I wanted to just be big. I don't want to be slim or nothing. Right. But I had access to it. Everybody wanted it. They were popping in like M&Ms.
Really?
Yeah, they were just taking them because one, you didn't have to work out. You don't have to work out, you'll lose the weight, but you're losing the weight because you're also not eating. It suppresses your appetite. So now you're popping these pills, you're an addict. You're an addict, and I remember, I think the pharmacist didn't order it on time, and one of my old neighbors was like, "Where is it?" And she's like, "But you told me you have it today." Wow. Screaming.
Definitely
like,
addict.
Wow. That's when I noticed, wow, I had somebody literally strung out. And I basically
that's a crazy
back
story.
And it was running rampant in the entire country. Wow. That's why you see all the commercials. Wow.
But you're right. They definitely affect for your mood, and you get angry. You jump fast with this. Yeah. What happened? Like that.
So let's
because of the caffeine and ephedrine.
Yes.
So wait, so would you somebody who's serious about their physiques, would you recommend the fat burner at a certain time?
I would say if you're gonna start dieting, I say do as best as you can initially without anything, and use the fat burners in the second phase or the third phase. That way you can do as much as you can with your own capabilities, physically, naturally, and then you can add it. That'll be just the icing on the cake, not the main ingredient. Main ingredient is your diet and your training. That's what's gonna get you to where.
What are brands would you recommend from the brands? Who offers like a really good?
Good question. From a lot of the reviews that we've done at Generation Iron, and our guys have covered, and been verified by some of the experts, and, nutritionists, doctors, coaches. A lot of there's been a few brands out there, like for instance, Burn Lab Pro from Performance Lab, Transparent Lab is a good one as well. There's one also by National Bodybuilding Co. that's been highly rated, and they all tend to have the same similar ingredients like HMB, the black chili extract.
Remember one product that catapulted hydroxycut.
That was a fat burner.
And what did it have in it? Main ingredient, it was ephedra. That's what took them.
So speaking of compositions, so there is a chemical called DNP. I'm going to pronounce the actual word, but DNP is used by bodybuilders, correct? It's a chemical, but it's used by some bodybuilders as an actual fat burner, correct, Vic?
It was used many times. Is very effective, but also very toxic. So it's that
called
fine line.
Dinerophenol, something like that. It was developed as a chemical for some kind of.
You can do better than that and pronounce.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. Can you read it?
Is dinitrophenol. Dinitrophenol. That's it. But it's DNP.
Close,
that's it. All right. It's short. I thought
but
it was longer.
I read about the history. So it was created as like some kind of a chemical used in manufacturing or something like that.
They made explosives with it and fertilizers. It's actually still used for fertilizers.
So how they take this and put it in a human body?
Extremists. There's an extremist in every sport, and in bodybuilding, some coaches are just experimenting with a lot of athletes. And it's that, it worked on him. Let's try it on the other one. Some people are very, very, crazy. Highly susceptible and get this big reaction out of it. And I seen guys backstage that use DNP where it probably did burn fat.
Is it like a pill or a liquid or what is it?
It's capsules. It's a powder. It's come in pills. And it's actually literally burn organs.
Burn organs.
It actually has, right? Yeah.
It doesn't burn muscle.
It's dosages. It could burn muscle again because they don't know the exact dosages. So when a person would try it, they'll say, "Oh, I feel okay. Let's use a little bit more." Then it surpasses that recommended safety dosage to it becomes not so healthy. To achieve a look, and again, you can't be on fat burner all the time, That's why when you see a lot of people, actors getting ready for a role, they use it just for that role. And they get off, and then you see them again start promoting the movie. They gain the weight back.
It's crazy. They're actually selling DNP. They're selling DNP supplements on Amazon. Crazy.
Yes, it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's not banned. And they cannot actually say it's for ingestion. I mean,
it's for whatever you want to say.
It's supposed to be used for
gray
fertilizer.
Area.
Yeah, they do like a gray area. It's kind of like this changes. Yeah, it's still used for fertilizer.
I put a DNP on a very dangerous part of this sport because it looks like exactly heroin.
Heroin.
Yeah, when one person use the heroin, they cannot go back to smoking weed because weed doesn't work for him anymore. And if you touch DNP, you can't.
It's a crazy analogy, bro.
Sounds like you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Too much.
It's too much. It's a drug. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's a drug.
It's like meth, basically.
It's a drug.
Basically, to simplify DNP, everyone I know that have used it, I have not seen them continue bodybuilding and competing.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Why? Something bad happened?
Because something happened. Again, would they ever say what happened or anything? Did they get really sick? I mean, it's one of those things that damage organs. And again, anybody who I've seen, they say they tried it. They either stopped doing good, stopped competing, or never got better.
Fat is not that bad. Body need fat too. So you don't know how much burn fat next to your organ, next to your heart, which is heart need fat. Not too much. You don't know how much you burn fat inside your blood.
Yeah, that would be actually. I mean, that's
why.
Well, not most people. Yeah, I mean, in this country at least have an issue with fat right now.
Maybe they have too much of it.
People have too much.
No, the bodybuilders. The problem for
too fat or too skinny.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to be in the middle.
The problem is normal people not using it. The problem is the bodybuilder using it for contests and going to.
So can you do it once and just die from it?
Yes, you
could
could be
be.
one of those persons.
It could be.
Yeah, you could be a statistic.
It could be
easily,
yeah.
Again, the dose is that fine line. You could use 100 milligrams. Sometimes you go right over, and that one little 5-10 milligram over.
We have two different fat: visceral fat, which is fat inside the body, and fat which is beside under the skin.
Right. The visceral fat is even more dangerous.
Visceral fat is if you go high, it's dangerous. If you go low too much, it's dangerous too.
Right.
You need little bit of fat, and you don't know how much you're burning visceral fat inside your body. That's why it's very dangerous. As Victor said, if you take in the dosage, they're burning inside more than the skin fat.
Right.
It's become dangerous.
Didn't the person who invented this kind of disintegrated his inside?
DNP?
Yeah.
I didn't read that, but
The founder.
I doubt he was
DNP.
taking it inside because he I'm sure he created it for, like you said, for
I mean, the
fertilizer. Why would he eat
autopsy
that? Why would he eat that shit?
Again, I mean, it's still being used to this day, regardless of the, horror stories, and everybody likes to take a chance, Just make sure if you're going to try it, tag me. I want to see what happens to you.
What do you think is more dangerous?
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
What do you think is more dangerous? DNP or what's the other things? The sugar thing. What is it?
Insulin?
Insulin, yes.
You can control the insulin. DNP can go haywire.
Really?
DNP.
Yeah. Insulin, the worst thing that can happen is you can use it and get super fat, or you can use it and go into the insulin shock.
So that's what people are afraid of.
Yeah, which is, but if you're eating your carbs, you can surpass that. Not saying that insulin is great. I mean, if I used it, yes. I mean, so long ago. But, I felt like I didn't need insulin, because again, if you eat enough food, you eat enough carbs. If you want to pass a threshold of gaining weight, it could give you
Isn't insulin also a form of fat burner because you can eat the fat foods and then it goes to your muscle? Isn't that the point of it?
Flush. I mean, again, it affects the pancreas. So if you could be one of those person that you can use it at one time and it could affect you horrible. The first time one of my friends used it, I think we just learned about it. It was like
didn't Milos introduce it to the
90s? It was like in the 90s, early 90s.
I mean, did that guy they arrest him? I mean, a lie.
He introduced insulin.
I
thought it was Milos.
No.
No.
1990.
Well, Tim Belknap was a natural diabetic, and I remember he had to use insulin because of his diabetes. But this guy was so massive, man.
Yeah. Insulin is the first peptide.
Crazy, man. He looked crazy.
Insulin is the first peptide exists as a peptide line.
Yeah.
It's like GH is the same line. GH and insulin is the same line. Both are peptide.
Yeah. Insulin becomes IGF, which is insulin growth factor.
So the point of this story is DNP, do not take it.
Don't take
fat burners, maybe some you should take.
Fat burners, use it right. Calculated.
Sometimes.
Programmed. And just know when to use it as part of a fat burning program. Again, you're not going to be on fat burners all the time. I mean, people use it for not just fat burning, but also use it to mental focus.
Really?
Fat burners are no different than energy drinks.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah,
kind of. It's like
they give you energy. They give you energy, and it's suppressing the appetite. Again, if you follow a good diet, good training program, would you need it? Maybe you can use it again to finish that finished product you want to achieve and then look.
Exactly.
So Vic, there's a lot of research out there as well. I think that it would be good to be helpful since we're on the topic of fat loss, but also rejuvenation, right? Stem cell treatment. How much do you know about stem cell treatment? So we were just in Colombia and in Medellin actually, and we were going to this very revolutionary stem cell location, where a lot of bodybuilders I've been to. I think Flex Lewis was there. Ronnie Coleman has been there. You might know more about it than we do, but there's a big, push for muscle rejuvenation. I also recovery and stem cells a big part of that. Do you know a lot about that?
No, it's big. The leading researchers of stem cell, I believe, over the years was California. And a lot of the pharmaceutical companies always want to block them.
What's a stem cell exactly?
A stem cell is basically regenerated cells that your body already produces, and when you're injured,
and injected exactly right there,
they actually create some.
So to take your DNA, they create cells.
Yeah, I think that. So right now, there's a lot of research out there that these professional athletes that you see, even in the NBA,
helps
NFL, they're paying top dollar, right, for recovery via IV stem cell
recovery, repair, injuries,
and it's legal.
And
it's legal. And I mean, so that's
there's
a good
certain
question.
legal. Is like there's some legal, there's some illegal.
Right. So there's some barriers to entering the U.S. in a lot of locations because of the legalities that have to do with stem cell IV treatment. Yeah. And because of that, a lot of people going overseas to get that treatment.
So
right.
you get the different kind of stem cells that are illegal here. Not all stem cells are legal here.
Right.
There's so many different ones.
Why some of it is illegal? What's in it? Like what do they put in it?
It's not put in it. Some of them is derived from the placenta. And it got synthesized, a lot of it. But I think the horror stories of the stem cells that women use or some men to regenerate tissue around their face or their eyes, and they've been blinded.
Wow.
You know, they've been blinded, and a lot of the times, certain stem cells, there's no control.
Right.
So when they get injected into your body, it can go haywire. You can't say, hey, you're only going to work this much in somebody's body. It could, morph and just keep growing into a negative effect.
Right. So I guess as a pro bodybuilder, these things are going to continue to evolve, right? Because you want to recover faster. You want to build more muscle, right? And you have to find ways to do that are not necessarily to just PEDs, but find it in ways where essentially emerging science is proving a huge resource for that.
I mean, you got to remember, it's used for so many positive things, burn victims, skin, tissue.
To rebuild it.
Yeah, rebuilding it. So
yeah, they use it for injury. They're using it for injury. If you get injured, I mean, NFL, NBA, they use it for a long time. I believe they exist from the Army. The first time the U.S. Army using from the soldiers coming back with the injury, especially people don't have legs or hands. They have pain, a lot of pain when they cut off the limb, one body. And then they inject it over there to bring down the pain and build a cell to holding it. But if you have tendon injury, if you have a muscle injury, if you have these dose of injury, yes, it's good for recovery. But if you're using as a recovery for daily base because you wanna back to the gym 100%, no, it's not that.
I would use it. I would use it constantly because it's one of these things where I did platelets on my knee, and
you've used it.
Yeah, and it worked.
Really, it
worked.
Wow.
I mean, I can squat still to this day. And
when you did?
Well, I did the PRP. And I did stem cell with my friend down in Jersey.
They've injected it
they added part of the IV. They added the aminos. They added the NAD and the stem cell, and you feel great. How does it keep working in your body? It's not enough to sustain to constantly keep working. So it's more of a treatment. It's not a one-time fix. So it's one of these things you have to keep going back.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah. And it gets very expensive. I mean, some of them are covered through insurance, the ones that are FDA approved. And that's the other thing that's going on with stem cell. FDA approves some of them, not the other, but you got to remember when these doctors and researchers are finding something good that's actually a cure, FDA wants to block it because there's no money in cures, So
FDA is not to be trusted.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it.
FDA not trust anything.
FDA.
Huh?
FDA don't trust anything.
They don't trust anything. They ban the ephedra. It's a big market, but they don't go through the pharmaceutical companies. But pharmaceutical company can create something that kills more people, but because it's approved by FDA, certain lobbyists get their money. They let it slide. So it becomes a very political argument.
Well, I mean, and also most recently, I don't know if you heard, I think Chris Bumstead had mentioned that stem cell had helped him, with his immune system and his kidneys as well.
I heard about this.
So, I mean, if that's someone that you could use as an example, right, for recovery, it's an Olympia champion. Sure. I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of emerging science out there that is going to probably evolve next year, next couple of months, who knows. But unfortunately in the US, there's a lot of, legalities, restrictions, costs.
All the red tape.
Right.
But the research is going to continue. I thank the scientists that are, approaching this with the due diligence and they want to show awareness. So we're only going to get better. We're only going to live longer because of these researches that's going on. And you got to give them a big up because we're going to be better. As long as the bureaucrats don't get in the way and the pharmaceutical companies don't try to block them from this progress. The only problem is who's going to dump money into their research, and that's where
the champion comes out.
It's all about the research, right? It's all
all about research and financing the research.
Yeah, there's some companies out there that already started some products that are in the market. I don't know how effective they are, but I do know that they are emerging and
a lot of great products. Invest in CRISPR.
I've heard about. Yeah, I've heard about. We spoke about
these guys are most advanced in science, man.
They can actually adjust how your baby would look.
Yeah, they got big research on gene doping.
One of my friend, he picked his baby eyes color.
Really?
Yes.
How does that work?
That's a real thing, and it's so funny.
It's crazy, no?
How does that?
They take his sperm, and
they take his sperm.
Yeah,
but you have to have it in your DNA.
Yeah, DNA too.
Like
they take DNA.
This
they
is what I
take
heard.
both DNA.
So in other words, right? It's another word.
Basically, they pick exactly that sperm they want, the blue eyes, and inject it to eggs.
How do they inject it into the egg?
You can't. It's very easy. It's all.
They take the egg out. It's easy. What do you mean? Like, how do they actually?
There's people.
Eggs I eat in the morning.
It's kind of like plastic surgery. People don't like to talk about that stuff, but people are actually doing that.
Yes,
and they're literally going.
And that's legal, yeah.
Yes,
but they're paying a top dollar for it.
How much? How much your friend paid?
I don't know. He's rich.
It's not something that you can just spend.
$1 million for blue eyes, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
So what else can you? Okay, so blue eyes. What else can you do? Hair color,
diseases.
Really?
Yes.
Now that's worth it.
Yes. That's worth it.
Yes.
So
basically, they pick the best. They pick the best sperms. They put the best eggs for the woman. This is the concept.
The only people that are going to go against this is the super religious, really.
Because you're going against God's will.
Because you're going against, but at the end of the day, it's like, listen, humans are not smart for just a waste of time or a purpose, We have to advance. It has to be used.
Right.
And, we're going to do it. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, you could be like a Mr. Olympia. I'd be like maybe someone like Chris, right? Like, I want my son to be Mr. Olympia. So let me pick the right
the best genetics.
Make sure
I don't want to.
Music genius. I
don't want to be my son become Mr. Olympia. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait,
have no diseases or nothing.
So like cancer free for the rest. So for life, that baby will not, or the human will not have.
This cancer. Is all research. But
the eyes thing is a real thing. I've heard about.
Yeah, this is happening, but you don't know what's going on after 20 years. This is just happening.
This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Right. We don't know what happened.
Blue eyes, but they're a serial killer or something.
It's gonna come back.
we don't know at the mental that kid is healthy or not.
I'm not gonna name some people. I actually know a few people that they all have brown eyes, and I know their family members, I know their grandparents, but both of their kids have blue eyes.
Because they went through CRISPR? Through CRISPR?
I mean, people are going to crucify me for this. The mailman.
Much cheaper, right?
The mailman.
Everyone has a blue eyes gene in DNA.
But blue eyes are I'm not a doctor here, but blue eyes are essentially kind of a defect. That's what I heard.
Yes.
They're not like natural.
They are not
which
color.
is why people love them because they're amazing.
So through CRISPR, you can actually get that into the system.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, that's what I've read and I seen in CRISPR and when it was on 2020, and I find it very interesting.
It's crazy
because you can't stop it. I mean, come on, they already cloned the sheep.
I mean,
what makes you think they didn't do a human yet?
Vic, tell me the company that's investing in that, and I'm going to put all my money into it.
It's already out in the market.
I'm going to put all my money into that stock.
Speaking of cloning, do they have cloned beef? cloned meat?
Yeah.
Would you eat that?
They clone, I mean.
Clone beef?
He said they cloned a sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. Is it made in China? No.
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 Yeah, there's a lot of information out there about cloning.
I'm sure
that's
Germany's the ones
pretty
doing it.
advanced,
I'm
yeah.
sure it is in Germany or I don't know, Switzerland. Always these, these countries that have the scientists, the leading research scientists, and they're the ones that want to change.
Especially Germany. Yeah, you're right.
They're always the ones, again, that are ahead of time when it comes to research, scientists, and
Well, according to you, they made the steroids too.
the steroids, amphetamine, all of it, man. I mean, it came from there, and they follow the strict protocols.
Germans are crazy for this.
I mean, the only reason we
And
got
good cars,
to
too.
outer space, I'm not going to say the moon. I don't
Best
know,
car.
but at
Best
least to outer
cars.
space was because of Germany.
But they are not area. Germans are not area. They're not Aryans.
Not Aryans. The Persians are Aryans.
Exactly.
That's for next episode. That's completely separate conversation. All right.
Can't believe it's not butter.
All
But
right.
with DNA, they can do anything. I mean, DNA is everything.
Fascinating.
It's gene doping.
Yes.
They could do it with anything.
This is
doping.
exactly
It's
gene
gene
doping.
doping. That's the right word.
That's a good name,
It's
gene doping.
real, it's real. It's happening, and it's gonna get to the city near you.
So
I
gene
mean,
doping is not natty.
That's not natty. You
This
born
is
as a
natty.
baby, not natty, right?
Well, you're doping. If you add doping to it, nothing doping is
That's so
natty
crazy.
nuts.
That's pretty insane, I gotta say. All right. Well,
But who's to say that the super rich? You got to remember, what we know as a society. Your everyday people will never have what the super 1% have.
Of course. I mean, if
So
you're buying Lambos, Ferraris, and you have
they're
private
doing
jets,
it already.
you're probably doing it already.
They're doing it already.
Jeffrey Epstein had an island.
Jeffrey Epstein had an island. People say, I don't want to get on, on GH. I don't want to get on this. It's like, well, because you're not super rich. Only the super rich are doing it.
Exactly.
They're the ones that are doing rejuvenation.
TRT.
TRT. They're the ones that are doing it. You're poor.
Right.
You're broke. You're not going to do that.
Yep.
save
Have
your
you
money
seen
for your
Jeff
rent.
Bezos? Jeff Bezos 10, 20, 25 years, 30 years younger.
He's on
TRT?
TRT.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's definitely on TRT.
He's on that Zac Efron diet.
Zach went to the wrong doctor.
He got abs on top. He got the abs on top of the belly.
What's this with Zach, man? Come on, Vlad. Tell us what happened with you and Zach.
I think it's hilarious. You the one make fun of him.
I don't know. I just take the helm. I'm gonna start snapping. Let's go. At the end of the day, I saw him once on Baywatch. All right, guys. Generation 9 podcast. Thank you for joining us. Till next time.
All right.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to tune in next week. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications. Want to listen to our other episodes? Please tune in to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. See you next week.